Late News headquarters in Santa Monica. This is the Midday Report on LA Late.
This is LA with a special report of the Hurricane Ida projected path as the hurricane heads to New Orleans. It is touched on landfall in the last hour. And in this recording, we'll go over where Hurricane Ida right now is in New Orleans with the graphics and the warnings from the National Hurricane Centers. We'll go over what I will be doing over the next hour or 2 hours of this Sunday, and then we'll be cutting to your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. We'll go over those monthly stimulus checks and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. And then the recon done deal, $3.5 trillion of checks coming to the American people. But first, we're going to start with the breaking news of Ida. Ida has now touched on landfall in New Orleans. Here's the latest graphic delivered by the National Hurricane Center. Where is Ida right now? It is on landfall. The current position of Ida's core is 20 miles west of Grand Island, Louisiana. It's about 55 miles southwest of New Orleans Metro. Maximum sustained winds right now are about 50 miles per hour. Massive flooding is occurring, but the levees are currently holding in New Orleans. Present movement is about 13 miles an hour. It's a very slow-moving storm at the moment, and its maximum pressure is about 27 miles. Currently, there's a storm surge warning in effect for intracoastal Louisiana to the Alabama-Florida border, Ventimiglia Bay, Lake Borgne, and then Mobile Bay as well. A hurricane warning is also in effect for intracoastal city, Louisiana to the mouth of Pearl River, and also for metropolitan New Orleans. A tropical storm warning, meantime, is in effect for Cameron, Louisiana to the west of intercoastal city, Louisiana, and the mouth of Pearl River to the Alabama-Florida border. What is the situation currently right now? This is a life-threatening situation. Obviously, I am in Los Angeles. I am not in New Orleans, but persons located within these areas should immediately take all necessary steps and actions to protect life and property from rising water and potential for other dangerous conditions, warns the National Hurricane Center minutes ago. The situation is very serious. If you're not indoors, you need to get indoors right away into a secure environment, hopefully in a structure that is of concrete formation. This is not a time to leave. This is not a time to be outside. You need to be inside. Hurricane warning means that hurricane conditions are expected to continue. Where is the eye of Hurricane Ida right now? National Hurricane Center reports the following, that the eye of Hurricane Ida was located by a northwest-south Doppler radar, moving at about 13 miles an hour, so it's very slowly moving. Slightly slower northwest motion should continue through the rest of Sunday evening. A turn towards the north should occur by Monday morning, followed by slight or fast northwest motion by Monday night and following into Tuesday. What's the projected path? Well, the projected path is the following. On the forecast track, the center of Ida will move further inland over northeastern Louisiana this Sunday afternoon and tonight, Sunday night. Then Ida is forecast to move well inland on portions of Louisiana and western Mississippi Monday and Monday night and move across Tennessee Valley on Tuesday. Winds are near 150 miles an hour right now at the time of this recording, which is about 1:30 p.m. New Orleans time at the moment. And Ida is extremely dangerous. It's a Category 4 hurricane on land right now. Rapid weakening is expected in a day or so. However, it's expected to remain at full hurricane force at the moment. It's currently 150 miles an hour, and you could expect tornadoes as well. Some tornadoes have been spotted in the area. There have been maximum sustained gust winds of about 70 miles an hour noted in some spots, and wind gusts is 102 miles in other areas. And the situation is the following. There is a series of major hazards expected for land throughout the rest of the day. First, storm surges. A combination of dangerous storm surges and rising tide will cause normal dry areas near the coast to be flooded. Water levels are expected to be very severe. What are they at the moment? We're looking at things like mouth of Mississippi to Bay St. Louis, about 8 to 12 feet. We're looking at areas like east of the intercoastal city, including Burns Point, 3 to 5 feet. We have areas like Morgan City, 8 to 12 feet. We have other areas like Lake Maurepas at 4 to 6 feet. So very, very serious situation. But at the moment, the levees are holding. Overtopping of local levees outside the hurricane and storm risk areas possible, says National Hurricane Center. Wind, very serious. Catastrophic wind damage is likely near the core of Ida as it moves inland over southeastern Louisiana through the afternoon. Hurricane conditions will spread further inland with hurricane warnings over southeastern Louisiana throughout tonight, National Hurricane Center reports. And then the storm conditions will spread inland over portions of Louisiana, Mississippi tonight and Monday as well. Rainfall will be very, very severe. Upwards of 10 to 18 inches in some areas, 24 inches in southeastern Louisiana and far southern Mississippi through Monday. And then Ida's forecast to turn into northeast Monday and track into middle Tennessee Valley and upper Ohio Valley through Wednesday. Those areas are expected to get the following. Alabama, 5 to 10 inches in coastal Alabama, western Florida Panhandle, could be upwards of 15 inches on Tuesday morning. Central Mississippi, 4 to 8 inches of rain, maximum of 12 through Monday night. Middle Tennessee, Ohio Valley, Central, Mid-Atlantic, 3 to 6 inches and higher on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then tornadoes, as I reported earlier, very severe. Some of them have already been reported, most likely Monday through southeastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southwest Alabama, and western Florida Panhandle. Also watch for Monday, and storm swells as well. These storm swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip current conditions. Please consult your local weather office. And there you go. That is the situation right now in this breaking news live stream alert on the projected path for Hurricane Ida, currently on land in New Orleans, Category 4, 150 mile an hour winds currently spotted. You need to be indoors and secure. Some of the outages are starting for electric and utilities, but the levees are currently holding. The situation will get worse. Please be very careful of the eye of the hurricane, because the eye of the hurricane is very deceptive. When the eye of the hurricane passes over potentially where you are, you may see areas of complete clear blue skies and birds flying. And then suddenly the eye turns. You may be on a particular one side of the hurricane's eye that's causing that situation. Very serious. It's currently just about 1:40 p.m. Louisiana time, right at the moment, New Orleans time. It's going to continue over the next few hours. It's been on land for about an hour and massive flooding at the moment. And with that, we'll be watching this throughout the day. Let's now cut to your fourth stimulus check update 2021, starting right now. Deal done. Your fourth stimulus recon is a done deal. How do we get to this final spot? I'll explain the details starting right now. Over the last month, the Democratic caucus had met before they were voting on the recon to agree upon a price tag, $3.5 trillion. They agreed upon that price tag, and they agreed to do it. And when they had that vote this last Tuesday on what's called the recon procedural, it was merely ceremonial, meaning that you're getting $3.5 trillion of checks. Those checks are coming to you, but they're mostly application-based. What's application-based? That's coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video, stayed at the very end. There's a push underway to put stimulus checks in there on top of that, with a series of Democrats urging the president in just recent days, monthly stimulus checks. These are Democrats on both the House and the Senate side, and we're going to meet them in just a second. Those checks are really the biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel, $3.5 trillion. How do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by taking roads and bridges out of the recon and putting into something called the bipartisan. And now both are passable. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass, says a conservative publication confirming my reporting. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put in the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. And now they're both pass. Now, as I had told you over the last month of, really in the month of July, that this vote was going to pass in a blink of an eye. It did on Tuesday. Because the Democrats had met and said, hey, what recon do you want to do? I want to do this type of recon. I want a big price tag, $3.5 trillion. And that's why the vote was merely ceremonial on Tuesday. Going into Tuesday, they had already agreed upon this. That's why Representative Richie Torres and Representative Ilhan Omar he's New York, she's Minnesota, they're both progressives and they're both Democrats, had met with the president saying, we got to go big and bold. He said we had to have a larger recon, and she said, we need a recon that goes big as bold as we need it. And they got it before they started the whole process, $3.5 trillion. The president then, once everyone had that agreement on the price tag in the month of July, before they called the vote last Tuesday, said protect my recon. Because everything in that recon is big checks to the American people and progressive priorities, which are the White House's priorities, says Jalapal, and also Schatz. So what is a recon? What is a bipartisan? What is a recon procedural? What is a recon substantive? Very important stuff you need to know. I'm going to show it to you right now because this coming week, they're finishing up that recon substantive. Recon is your money. That is reconciliation, also called the budget bill. $3.5 trillion of checks across the board. Bipartisan, not your money. So let's look at the graphic. To pass, recon, first your money, also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill, also called the Democratic spending or the progressive social reform plan. $3.5 trillion of money, all checks for you. Bipartisan, not your money, also called infrastructure or something like that, like roads and bridges. So we started the week with 3 items to do, and we're done with the number first. Which was that first one we got done? Bill number 1, which is the roads, which is recon procedural. We passed that on Tuesday, and so we're done with that. Now we're fishing up recon substantive. We didn't just start that this week. We're fishing it up. I'll explain what that is in a second, and we're also doing bipartisan. So what is recon procedural and what is recon substantive? Recon procedural is very simple. It basically says, are we agreeing to do this? Yeah, we are. And then recon substantive says, what are the terms and conditions of what we're doing? So recon procedural, done, finished, in the books. Finito on Tuesday. Price tag at $3.5 trillion recon done, meaning that there will be a recon which checks the American people, generally application-based, the magnitude of which I'm going over in the third part of this video. Committee number 1 will have $10. Committee number 2 will have $20. Example. And there you go. Done. So what are they doing on recon substantive? It's really the terms and conditions. How are the committees going to spend the money? Now that committee has $10, how does the committee spend the $10? And there you go. How do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot from Jalapal, who recently wrote Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. And he did, and it passed. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of 100 plus, who recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to put monthly forced stimulus checks in that forced stimulus recon. Wow. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee wrote the president a letter recently saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Well, Purple Power, you got to push. These are one of several groups of different people in Congress who have been talking in recent days nonstop about those monthly stimulus checks and how they need to give it to you. On the Senate side, we've had just a few days ago, Warren, Sanders, and Wyden saying that we need a monthly forced stimulus check in the forced stimulus package. They say monthly, but they don't say the amount. And the interesting part of that equation, Bernie is part of that group, and he's part of the budget committee that spends the money under the recon substantive. How are they spending it? That's part of the subject that Bernie's doing right now. So you're going to see the importance of Bernie in the third part of this video. Then we go to the House bill from Jalapal. Pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus check, $1,000 after the first month, which would result in at least 12 checks, at least $13,000, written by Jalapal and others. Then we have a House letter from AOC and Omar to the president just days ago, saying there needs to be a monthly stimulus check of $2,000 a month across the board. Again, reoccurring monthly is the theme. This time, the price tag is $2,000. We have the House Ways and Means Committee, which we just went over a second ago, writing the president saying they're going to do monthly, but they don't say the amount, but they do say monthly. And they say they're going to do a 5th one next year. And finally, we have the American petition with nearly 4 million signatures to the president, demanding a monthly stimulus check of $2,000 a month. And there you go. And can we top that? Yes, as Biden did it going into a week going into the weekend 8 weeks ago. The president went overseas for a ceremonial signature, and he did it. Then he went back in the United States and had the physical signature, and it was for something called the global minimum corporate tax rate. It's now out of the recon, making the recon easier to write, because this thing was confusing. Easier to call the vote, easier to vote on the recon, and easier to pass the recon. And wow, can we top that? Yes, as we go Going to the final 15 minutes of this big video today, we'll be going over the recon and what this money means for you. It's $3.5 trillion of checks for you across the board, but mostly application-based. I'll explain to you what application-based is in the third part of this video. Then we'll be cutting to the big money that Bernie Sanders wants to hear from you about. And we'll be going over how Purple Hawks are going to do really well under forced stimulus. Meantime, if you've had problems getting money, get at least one item from this channel, whether it's rent, utilities, food, or internet. And if you can't find the rest, reach out to the volunteers. They're on the community page. Where are they? In the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll find a link to the community page. It's news.lalate.com/community. Here's a little bit about them, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with a continuation of the coverage from New Orleans and more about the big details about your forced stimulus. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now at noontime as Hurricane Ida is on landfall in Louisiana and in New Orleans. Category 4 touching a landfall at 150-mile-an-hour winds. And the situation is evolving by the minute. I'll have more about that in a second. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record, fastest growing channel of its kind. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Meantime, it's days like this that you want to be part of the LALATE Alerts. The LALATE Alerts launched a week ago today, and thousands have already signed up. It's changing the face of news reporting. It's totally free. It's at news.lalate.com, so you'll get breaking alerts like this video when it happens. Watch that confirmation email, click the button for the blue button, and then you're confirmed. Let's cut back to Hurricane Ida right now. So Hurricane Ida is on landfall. It's Category 4, massive winds, 150-mile-an-hour winds. The eye of the storm is still swirling along the coast, so be very, very careful. Do not think that there's a clearing of the blue sky and that suddenly you're in a better situation, because the storm is slow moving. It is not a fast moving hurricane. It's staying relatively calm in its position and not moving quickly out of the area. During the commercial break, I had one viewer who talked about her evacuation. Marsha Bellan says, "Hello, LA, Purple Power family. I evacuated to Alabama, which got some, but my house was built in 1960. All wood. I didn't feel safe." Amen. A lot of people don't have the benefit of where to take cover. So wherever you have to take cover in Louisiana right now, take cover. Understand that if you're a neighboring states of Alabama, Mississippi, Panhandle, Florida, you will, if you haven't already, started to feel the effects of Ida. Which direction she's moving? Here is one graphic that suggests that she's going to move more towards the east. A lot of these storms generally move eastward. They don't move westward. But you see how the impact of that projected path would be across the board. A lot of details. Meantime, if What I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out a way that I can inform the volunteers about the link for National Hurricane Center disaster relief, because that will be certainly announced if it has already been not already been announced. Every time there's a weather pattern like this, the federal government and the states allocate a massive sums of money for you to go get, and that is generally application based. It is application based, either by telephone or going by a website. And I'll instruct the volunteers, if you are one of those people that returns back to your home and finds that there is just any type of damage, and you need to seek relief for that as well. All right, let's go into the details of your fifth stimulus. Well, fifth stimulus is heating up, and it's in September, just days away from this, and this is where the president will be fixing the SSI reform system, at least he had hoped. But now the Democrats are taking care of it for him. Step number one is they're going to raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security Railroad benefits. Step number two is they're going to remove the asset limit, add an inflation benchmark, remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. They look forward to doing this in September, out to a vote by November, and this would impact your benefits across the board. Step one, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply the benchmark, and if the benchmark, let's say it's 5%, means that your your benefits will go up an additional 5%, not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear loss of benefits. Meantime, will there be a fifth stimulus check as well? Yes, those House Ways and Means Committee members represent, they're giving you one under the fifth stimulus package. And finally, if you've not become a Purple Hawk, you need to. The link under the video to join as a member is there. Why is it important to become a member? You'll be seeing tonight on Afternoons LA, which this video is taking you automatically to at 1 o'clock, and the 3 o'clock Afternoons LA show as well, that the viewers of this channel are doing insane numbers in the last few days. Third stimulus had a lot of money available for you. When the third stimulus was passed, it was a $14 stimulus check, I launched Purple Hawks to show you, hey, there's a lot of money available for you to get. And at the time, I said I can get you $15,000. Well, this week, we had 3 viewers get over $40,000. We had Johnny get $80,000. The week before that, we had Mark get $55,000, and that same week, Lorraine getting $105,000. There's a lot of money, and that money is available for you to get. Purple Hawks is delivered daily from me to them, a breakdown of all the big money available under first, second, and third stimulus. From the YouTube community page, I deliver that message daily to you of all the PDFs and everything you need to know to pounce. And everything that's proposed under fourth stimulus as well for you to get, because this is a lot of money available for you to get. Purple Hawks are really learning that these are massive sums of money. And if you watch some of the other recordings throughout the day, I'll show you some of the numbers that look like this and like this that viewers are getting across the board. And if you've had a success story as well, send it to me on social media. I'll feature it tomorrow morning across the board. And so consider becoming a Purple Hawk. And there you go. And finally, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now. Deal done. Your fourth, I clicked it 3 times. Your fourth stimulus recon is done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people as the recon procedural passed on Tuesday. What does this mean for you? Let's go over all the details. The recon procedural passed on Tuesday, which means that the American people will have a reconciliation. That reconciliation will have a price tag of $3.5 trillion, and it'll be all checks for you. First, second, and third stimulus package this small, with nearly 90% of all checks not for you, for corporations. This one is this big, and all for you. Incredible details. So what is application-based stimulus? You've been doing this since day one. It's something where you have to pick up the phone and say, hi, I need this, pay it to me, and they pay it to you. It's different than saying you're all getting the check automatically, because guess what? IRS Treasury, it doesn't have anything to do with your dental, vision, hearing, eyes, internet, workers, issues, or things like that. They don't. And these are some of the checks. Let's go over some of the incredible checks that are proposed in the legislation. This is not the actual bill, but what's proposed. Checks for farmers, checks for free internet, checks for workers, lots of checks for workers like independent contractors, checks for seniors like dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care, lots of checks for seniors. Then we also have checks for free school meals for all, checks for tax breaks, and checks for cheaper prescription medication. The president had a meeting a week ago secretly with the Democrat caucus about the third one, cheaper prescriptions. Why? He told them to really get that message out loud and clear about it because he thinks it's a real game changer. I think it is. I agree with him. Why? Because you instantly, the next day, see the money in your wallet stay there. You will go into the pharmacy, let's say on Monday, pay $50 for a prescription. Then on Tuesday, this becomes law. And then on Wednesday, if you go back to refill it, it's $5 a prescription, saving $45 in your wallet, keeping it in there. And that's the sort of the message across the board. Now, you just saw me go over prescriptions, dental, vision, hearing, internet. That's all very, very textbook application based because IRS, Treasury, never sends out checks for your dental or your vision or your hearing. They just don't. Treasury, IRS, never sends you a check for your eyes, your vision, or your internet. That's always in a committee. You pick up the phone and say, hi, I want that money for the internet. Okay. Application-based does not mean you filling out a 50-page application. It just means that you reach out to something to ask for the money and it gets paid to you. And this is why that recon substantive is so important. How the committees spend the money is the issue of recon substantive. The committees are given this money under recon procedural. Committee number 1 will have money for your internet. Committee number 2, for example, will have money for your dental. And so you'll reach out to each of these committees to get the money, and that money will be paid to you. Yes, there's a push underway to get stimulus checks in there on top of that. Yes, there's a push to get $2,000 monthly reoccurring stimulus checks in there on top of that. But what's currently guaranteed, 100% guaranteed, is $3.5 trillion of checks for you that are application-based. You've been doing these application-based items since the beginning of the pandemic. You did it with PBT, you did it with SNAP, where you picked up the phone or you asked for money for rent or utilities. You've been doing this all along. Since the pandemic started, you have been picking up the phone, getting that raise of your PBT, or getting some SNAP benefits, or getting some rent, or utilities, or food, or internet. Or maybe you applied for PUA or UI or PPP or EIDL. You've always picked up the phone and called. It's not a whole long process. It's not like, you're signing away your life story or writing a novel. No, it's as simple sometimes as picking up the phone and saying, hi, my name is, this is where I live, and I think I qualify for this. Okay, thank you. And away we go. That is what application-based stimulus is. On the Mornings LALATE video, there was one person who was in the comments. Of course, that person was banned for something like this. But the person said something along the lines of, oh, he thinks we're not getting stimulus checks anymore. No. Absolutely 100% incorrect. What I do with this channel is I give information true to bone and true to form. I'm not going to sit here and say one thing is guaranteed and another thing is not guaranteed. And I'm not going to sit here and say one thing is guaranteed when it's not guaranteed and ignore something that is guaranteed and sort of flip over the subject matter. The $3.5 trillion of checks under the recon is guaranteed. That's done. That's done. How they spend the checks is not done. And that is why Purple Power is pushing. That's why you need to push, because how they spend the money is not done. The committees are given this money to spend it, and the terms and conditions of the checks for you, which are guaranteed to be gotten to you, is still at issue. How they spend the money is what they're working on currently. And that recon substantive is a big issue. And that is why I brought back on this channel Seats for Stimulus, a social media campaign from 2020 that said, hey, spend the right amount of money on us for stimulus. Spend the right amount of money on us for stimulus. There's 6 House seats up for grabs. And guess what? When they were on the House floor, they were talking about this on Tuesday. They said we need to spend the money the right way. Tell these legislators, tag these legislators, share these videos, call the legislators, say you need to spend the money the right way. And guess who wants to hear from you? Guess who? The guy who wants to have you have multiple monthly stimulus checks. Bernie Sanders. Yes. Now, why would you not contact Bernie Sanders? He says, I want to hear from you. And he says he wants you to have a monthly stimulus check. Well, do it, Bernie. Now, remember, these elected officials, they change their mind all the time, so you got to push. But here is what Bernie said just 24 hours ago on Friday. He said, well, was that 40? I guess that's 40 hours ago now. He said that I want to hear from people. As the budget chairman, he said, I understand that prior budget chairmen historically have done their work only in Washington, D.C., but I think it really is the function of a budget chairman to get out among the people. He wants to hear from you. What we're proposing in this budget is extremely popular. But Chuck Schumer, the majority leader of the Senate, says he works so closely with Bernie that they talk maybe 4 to 5 times a day. We work so closely together, I'm probably talking to Bernie 4 to 5 times a day. So the language is really critical. The language of that recon subs is very critical. Recap where we are so far. Recon, done deal, $3.5 trillion, checks the American people, guaranteed, coming out, going out, but application-based, meaning you have to pick up the phone at least and say, hey, I want this. But while that's guaranteed and confirmed, how they spend the money is not confirmed, because the deal provisions, the terms and conditions, are still being drafted. And not confirmed yet still is the stimulus checks. They can get them in there. Again, they've not decided how to spend the money among the items the committees are given the money. Committee is given $20, for example. How does it spend the money? That's what's being decided right now. That is the scope of recon substantive. Meantime, Purple Hawks and viewers and Purple Power and Calcino VIPs and members of this channel have really learned well over the last 2 weeks, because we've done this before, that as we sit here in this week of August, there will be no check landing in your hand for fourth stimulus this coming week. But there will be for third stimulus if you pick up the phone. We had countless viewers this week get $30,000, $40,000, $20,000 that they didn't start the week with because they watched this channel and they picked up the phone and they got the money. Let's go over some of those success stories right now, because this is what you should be doing right now. Johnny reveals that he got $80,000 from this channel. By Wednesday, he had only gotten $40,000. He went up another $40,000 in just 2 days. He got $12,000 of SNAP this week. He got $10,000 EIDL. He got $1,800 for taxes. He got state housing at $21,000. He got power of $9,000. He got another $25,000 for housing, bringing his grand total to $79,800. He also got internet and telephone. Then we had Shanann, who told her friend about this channel. Hey, LA, I told my friend about you, and she's now addicted to your channel. She got $99,000 for rent and $5,000 of utilities and $6,000 for food snaps this week. There you go. We had Dawn, who got her $15,000 this week for EIDL. We had Joanne, who got $9,500 this week with Crayola King as her helper. And then on her own, I love this, she went back on her own and got the money. She got $400 for electric herself. Yes, Joanne, great job. She got $600 for rent herself. I love that. So she had the helper get the first one, and then she got the other 2 herself. And then Becca and Crayola got $2,400 for rent. Then we had other success stories, like the great success story of Robert. He's a regular viewer in the live chat. He got $18,000 for rent, $16,000 for SNAP, and $7,000 for utilities. Why would you not want these monies? Look at that number. That's almost $40,000. Keep up your wonderful job helping other people. God bless you, LA. I want to thank you because of what I got approved. I've been watching you since the start of this pandemic. My name is Robert, and I go by Dredd, D-R-E-D-D, in the live chat. We have Sharon and Donnie, who got $225 a month for SNAP, and they're pouncing to get more. And then Dottie, who got $10,000 for rent in Mississippi, from Rampa, Mississippi. And that the success stories keep on coming in. The true spirit of the Purple Power is understanding the following. 1, money is money. If there's money available for you to get right now, why would you pass it up? Pounce and get this money right now. Number 2, the important thing is to understand that that money for third stimulus you can get right now, because fourth stimulus is not landing in your bank account this week. How do you get this money? 6 places you're going to reach out to. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Michitini. And this is a lot of money. When you reach out to them, you have to go into the sort of mindset of the following. Number 1, you have to reach out to each of them, not just one. I had 2 viewers on Overnight's LALATE, regular viewers in every single video. And they reached out to one place, one county in Michigan, and stopped. You don't do that. You don't just reach out to one county in the place that you live and stop. Of course you're going to get a no. It's very easy to get one no. Who cares about the first no? Because they have different eligibility every place. If you get no, reach out to the next. They have their own pot of money. Number 2, I had a viewer 2 mornings ago say that I called up and I asked for free rent. That's all the viewer said. I want some free rent. They said, sorry, sir, we don't have free rent. What do you mean you don't have free rent? I just want free rent just because. They said, no, we have rent assistance because of COVID. Sound funny? It is funny because that's exactly the keywords I tell viewers to say. Rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage assistance because of COVID, utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know. Like, hi, I want free money. Can I have some free money? No, we don't have free money. Sorry. Yeah, can't say the wrong words. There you go. And then finally, the incredible news is that Purple Hawks are really pouncing well, but you got to pounce more. You need to be on social media, tag your elected officials, say you need to get the stimulus out the right way. As you're seeing throughout the videos today, very clear message I'm delivering is that if your contribution to a chat or a comment is the word that is spelled W-H-E-N, your contribution is zero. You don't provide any contribution to this community if all you say is when. Purple Hawks have never ever said when. They say now. They go on social media, they call Bernie Sanders, as Lynn Glenn called Bernie Sanders, says, you need to spend the money the right way. I mean, politely, she said, not with the type of tone I said. You need to spend the money right now. Way. When? Just tell me when. No, you're being completely a donut person by saying, I just want to know when. When. Guess what? When the money comes available for rent, utilities, SNAP, internet under third stimulus, guess how much of that you got? Zero, because you never picked up the phone, because none of it was automatic. None of it was automatic. All this money that people got for rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgage assistance, utilities, $80,000. None of this was automatic where they were holding a donut and the $80,000 just appeared. Never been the case. I had one viewer yesterday who said something along the lines of, I shouldn't have to beg. This is not begging. This is applying. This is applying. This is not begging. This is applying. And pushing for your elected officials to do something is not begging. It's called lobbying or vocalizing your statement. The reverse is apathetic, is where you say, no, I'm just not going to say anything. Whatever they give to me, I'll just take. What? Is this a dictatorship? No, you pick them up the phone. You say, spend the money the right way. And there you go. Coming up next is a big Afternoons LALATE at 1 o'clock. Then at 3 o'clock is the next Afternoons LALATE. And then we go into Evenings LALATE at 5 p.m. plus a new Overnights Crypto at 3:45. Meantime, let's keep the people of New Orleans in our prayers. I have spent many weeks in New Orleans. I broadcasted live from New Orleans before this channel existed. New Orleans is very close to my heart and the people of New Orleans. Just a wonderful town. 150-mile-an-hour winds. Currently on land as Ida has touched down in Louisiana. It is Category 4, massive hurricane, storm surges, and wind and rainfall. Get inside. If you're not inside, get inside, stay in place for at least the remainder of the day. Watch the National Hurricane Center, which is absolutely wonderful, on Twitter or social media. There are expected outages, so you may lose connectivity across the board. Meantime, if you're in neighboring states like Alabama, Mississippi, coastal Panhandle, Florida, be alert because Ida is moving and you will suffer storm surges there as well. Those numbers currently are the following. That Ida is currently 51 miles southwest of New Orleans, 20 miles west of Grand Island, and it's currently moving relatively slowly. Massive hazards to land include storm surges with Morgan City at about 8 to 12 feet of water. And then we have the concerns about the next 2 days. Landfall for rainfall, central Mississippi could see to 4 to 8 inches, and 12 inches tonight through Monday. Central Middle Tennessee 3 to 6 inches, including Upper Ohio Valley, Central Appalachian, and tornadoes are likely as well. Meantime, coastal Alabama and far western Florida Panhandle 5 to 10 inches with isolated maximum amounts of 15 inches through as much as Tuesday. The time of this recording, if you're watching it later after it's taped, is currently at 2:15 Pacific Standard, at 2:15 Louisiana time. Keep Louisiana in your prayers. Meantime, if you've not signed up for those LALATE alerts, it's a day like this you need to. Go to news.lalate.com. A link is in the description. It's totally free. You'll get alerts when anything happens like Ida, and it sends you to links for the video itself on this channel. Watch for the confirmation email, and maybe in the spam folder, click the blue button, and then it'll say confirmed. And with that, I'll see you next as we go into a big afternoon's broadcast. Stay on this video, it'll automatically take you there. And with that, make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Stay informed, stay focused, and keep Louisiana and the neighboring states in your prayers. And stay with LA for more.